Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, as always, is Ben.
Hey, what's up? What are we
Stuff.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about Magic the Gathering.
What? That's crazy. A Magic episode. Absurd.
Yeah, man.
From us?
Yeah, so a new set has come out, War of the Spark. It's got uncommon planeswalkers. And all the planeswalkers have a static ability, which is pretty neat.
It's really
They
cool.
finally found a way to design planeswalkers that's not the one way they design planeswalkers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it feels good being able to because I like planeswalkers. I just don't like how there's a lot of them that up until now it's been like this thing hit the field and if you can't deal with it in like 2 or 3 turns, it's just game over. Mm-hmm. Or you're just in like the case of something like Teferi, like the game's not going to be over for like 30 turns, but I'm not going to wait around for it.
Uh-huh.
Now it's like, oh, you have a little dude out that is inconvenient, but maybe a little bit more inconvenient than a creature, but ultimately, whatever. It's spicy.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird because, frog in my throat. The thing, it wasn't necessarily that they only built. Oh my god, my voice.
Hell yeah, dude.
God. It's not just that they only designed one kind of planeswalker, but it is that only one kind of planeswalker ever turned out good generally. The model of draw a card, defend yourself, ult was so ingrained in what good planeswalkers were.
Yeah.
And anything else was pretty situational.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just nice that there are just utility planeswalkers that are okay now. That's just neat.
Yeah,
Kiora is just a cool card.
Yeah, they're more expendable without it feeling bad.
Mm-hmm. And the static abilities go a long way to do that because now they're just at minimum they're an enchantment. Basically,
yeah,
or an artifact, like a static artifact that can be attacked. So it's a little more vulnerable in certain ways and less vulnerable in other ways because a lot of the common removal is not going to target them.
Yeah, and there's still I don't know. I it's only been a week, so people are still evaluating them certainly, and stuff. It'll take probably another week or two for things to settle into a known spot as far as which ones are absurd, which ones people maybe slept on, all that shit. But I've definitely encountered people who underestimate them. It's just one of the uncommon planeswalkers. Yeah, well, it's letting me exile a thing that you have, so maybe don't just leave it there. Or stuff like that. Just it's not big and flashy, so people they think they can just leave it there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. There's also just a lot of cool cards. Just fun jank to mess around with.
Dude, it's so bad
right now.
It's so much jank.
Yeah.
There's proliferate and discard.
I'm obsessed with Bolas' Citadel and trying to get a deck that I'm happy with.
Yeah. Discard is viable now. There's an actual win con, and that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It makes me so happy because I wanted that deck to work. It's an asshole deck. But whatever.
Yeah, man.
It's been fun. I play Spark Double. So you got that planeswalker that
Uh huh.
yeah. So you get 2 or 3 of them out or whatever. It's a good time. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's just
So there's
plenty of
also a
spice.
there's also a mill deck that basically plays that same way,
Hell yeah.
where you play because like Ashiok is actually kind of nuts because it
Ashiok is
mills them
ridiculous.
and then
Yeah.
it exiles their whole graveyard,
Dude,
which
it's
is
absurd.
pretty powerful. That's a powerful effect on its own.
I see. I thought about Ashiok, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not good enough to have like one janky strategy. I need a backup jank, and that backup jank is Demonic Betrayal. Discard all their shit and then play their stuff.
I thought it wasn't
Ideally.
really. Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. And you can't do that with Ashiok because
Yeah.
their graveyard's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's really funny.
It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it, even though
Yeah,
I'm also an asshole.
yeah. My problem has been like I'm fighting a lot against a lot of control. Like
Oh.
the the
Yeah.
when I play on ranked, which is where I mostly play, just because why not?
Yeah, you might as well. You're not gonna go down a tier or
y-
whatever.
yeah. I'm fighting like a lot of mono aggressive decks or hard control decks, and like the swings between those and trying to find a deck that can fight both of them in best of one is kind of killing me.
Yeah.
Like it's just super frustrating because I'm like trying to just gain enough life to stay alive, and then could like I don't have enough gas against the counterspell decks.
Yeah, it's rough. My thing is it kind of like because I've been playing janky stuff, I get put against like the watered down versions of those decks, and they're actually worse to me. Like it feels way worse when I see someone dropping shit that just should never work. Like they're playing the ranked deck, but then clearly have like substitutions. And it bothers me that those substitutions like kick my ass just because I'm also playing hot trash.
Uh huh.
But meh, whatever.
Yeah.
I go and play your Neo Niv deck, and I feel better about myself.
The most depressing thing about that, the problem with that deck is you get if you're in like a long game where you're just like, I'm drawing lots of cards, I'm deploying stuff, but they have answers. At a certain point, you get to where you have like 25 cards left in your deck and it's like all lands, like all of your good cards are gone.
Yeah, it probably just needs like a bit of recursion, right? Or like more like another
I don't
find or
the
something.
problem another find probably. Um but yeah, like there just isn't room in that deck for that
Yeah,
effect. There's no
yeah,
multicolor card that does it. I've stared at them.
yeah,
I tried using and I also tried like using Paradise Druid just to get it a little faster, but I think I'm cutting those cuz it's just I need
yeah.
the only way that deck ends up being any good at all is all your cards are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like every card is kind of good, and then you have Neoform to
Yeah.
like turn them into different good cards if you need to.
Yep. Yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's just very vulnerable to counter magic, and you have to build it. Like I can build it to gain enough life to live through aggro decks,
Yeah.
but I can't do that and be
I
able to
mean,
beat control.
if only there was some sort of miniature deck that you could slot stuff in and out
I
of.
know, I know. I should build a sideboard, but I don't have. That takes
It's
more rare
expensive.
wild cards.
It's fucking, especially for this deck where like everything's a banger. Like,
Yeah. I mean, not everything's a rare. Like, I honestly think Elite Guard Mage is one of the best cards against
it's
the
just
burn deck,
really
and
good,
that's an
dude.
uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those. Like, ooh, I get to play this card.
Hell
Game 3
yeah.
life draw a card on a creature.
Yeah,
Ooh.
no, it's very nice in the current meta.
Yeah, so I haven't actually been playing. Like, I played a bunch of that deck first because I built it first, and I was like, this is great. And then I just started to want other things to work.
Yeah,
So
it
I've been on
definitely
a journey.
it definitely feels like worse in ranked for obvious reasons, but I don't know. It's still when it stomps, it stomps. And
Like
it
honestly,
feels great.
my when I was first doing it, I feel like when I've messed around with it since, I think I'm I think tinkered with the deck list a little too much, and probably made the deck actually worse. But my big problem was like was again just running out of stuff against
Yeah.
the control decks where I could I could get it to fit if or I wouldn't be able to cast a Niv, and then I just don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
like I just need the card draw.
Yeah.
But the part that was frustrating was like things are going as well as they can for me, and it's still just not enough. I don't have enough
Yeah.
gasoline to keep this fire going.
My favorite thing about that deck is watching people like clearly struggle to figure out what they should take care of. Like when they
Oh yeah,
like please thought erasure me. You don't know what the fuck to
uh-huh.
do here. And they take like the
Yeah,
wrong thing. It's just a great experience.
yeah. Getting so that's yeah. I've had a lot of trouble with like duress and thought erasure have also been backbreakers in a lot of cases. With like my Bolas Citadel deck,
Yeah.
because that's like a combo deck. That's just I need to get Bolas' Citadel in play.
Yeah.
Like there's a build of that deck where it's just if I get to Bolas' Citadel, I just play my entire deck and and loop it so that I can just loop Bolas Citadel activations and win.
Gotcha.
Like
That's a
I need to have a couple things on the board. I need to have a couple things on the board because there's Path of Discovery so that all my creatures have Explore, which is very important. And then there's the wand. I play the Wanda Vertebrate, which both can mill the top of my library and shuffle cards from my library back into my deck. It does like 5, I think, if you sacrifice it. So it's got 2 ends, and then I have guys whatever that reshuffles your. So if
guy's
I
blessing.
explore Guy's Blessing. So if I can get an Explore trigger with that on my top of my library, then I can put it in my graveyard and get my whole graveyard back.
Yeah, I need like Guy's Blessing is one of those cards that I want to use more than I
Yeah.
do.
So it's one of those. It's just one of those things. Like if I had the right, it's definitely like a build of that deck that needs a sideboard for matchups. Clearly, because that build can, like any deck that can't counter me or burn me out really fast, which are like the two main strategies. But like I can just win.
Yeah.
I find like I play other strategies. I'm just like, oh, thank God, I'm gonna win. Just, like if you don't have weirdly like Grixis is a really bad matchup because Bedevil actually targets artifacts, but against
Oh, yeah.
Esper, it's a little better because Bolas' Citadel, once it's in play, they don't really have answers for it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, yeah. So the other build of that deck that I've been doing that I think is going to ultimately be better that I'm still messing with is an Abzan version that plays white
Okay.
so that you can play the new Sorin and you can play the new Ajani.
Gotcha.
So the new Ajani just gives you it's a lot of life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
I
just
don't know what Sorin does though.
Sorin, so his static is like he gives your planeswalkers and creatures lifelink on your turn,
Oh.
and
Yeah,
he's he's a +2 that's like 1 damage to a creature or planeswalker or a player or planeswalker, which is not it's whatever, but it's 2 loyalty, and his minus is you minus X and bring a creature back onto the battlefield. So that's super good with the Explore package.
yeah,
Because you can
really
just
good.
-2 and get either a Wild Growth Walker if you don't have one, or get a Branch Walker or Jade Light Ranger if you have a Wild Growth Walker. That's
Yeah.
crazy good. but I don't have. I only have one of each. Well, no, I think I have more than one of Johnny, but I only have one Soren.
Yeah.
And like
Oh,
I kind of want like three maybe in that deck.
yeah. No, that's my issue. Like all the hot jank. Well, all this, all your
Yeah, I
engines and
mean, yeah,
whatnot.
that's the thing. Like, there's other hotter jank that I want to play, like playing Fibblethip with one of the legendary sort with like legendary sorcery cards.
Oh my god.
It's like I don't have any of the legendary sorceries, and those are bad.
Yeah.
But man, if you when you resolve an Ursa's Ruinous Blast,
Shit does go down.
yeah, there's the green one allows you to search up a creature, so that's pretty good with Fibble.
I still need to I need to revisit my artifact deck in full because I feel like we got way more enablers. Not even necessarily for like the artifact portion, but just the supporting cast. Saheeli is definitely worth like looking into, even though the things aren't flying. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I haven't had
It's like
any
my,
luck with Saheeli. I've like tried a bunch, and I kind of
yeah,
gave up. I don't know.
like
Like the ones without flying just didn't seem.
they didn't stick
There's
enough.
just so much removal. There's so many. Like everyone's playing board wipes.
Yeah,
It's like
it's man, was that I've done like 2 drafts because I did the sealed event and no, it must have not been. Because ritual soot is way older. What am I thinking? I don't
Yeah.
know. Whatever. We'll leave that train behind. I played 2 drafts because I did the sealed event and I had leftover gems. I got a code from Jeremy, and then used the rest of my gems. It went real bad. The first time, I, not really used to the set. I haven't drafted in a while, and didn't prioritize removal as much as I needed to.
yeah.
Actually, for my sealed event, also just pulled garbage. Like there was no focus to that deck. But for drafting and stuff, you have that extra choice and everything. And
Yeah.
I tried focusing a bit more on removal, and happened to it felt terrible because the first person I played decided for some reason to focus on the counter spells, which in a draft is usually awful, except it wasn't. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I think the
Yeah.
best
I think it's possible in this because I think this format's kind of slow.
yeah.
Like the thing I heard is that like a lot of games go to decking.
See, I didn't. I like maybe I just need to look more into draft stuff, but ugh. It on the
What were
plus
you
side,
what were you playing? What colors?
for the most recent one, I went Esper, I believe.
See,
no.
part of
Last one I went. I think I was just red blue for my last
Okay.
one. At one point I did Esper, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I narrowed
Yeah,
it
the-
down, and it went a little better, but still.
So one of the things, like particularly compared to the last 2 sets, like Ravnica, you really can only be more than 2 colors if you're in green. In this set, there's like no fixing for other colors. Like even splashing, basically you can't do it unless there's like a green deck. You can basically be 5 color because of like stuff like Paradise Druid, where you're just like ramping into big mana spells. That deck's the thing. But other than that, you have to pick 2 colors
Yeah.
that you're
And it
gonna be.
I don't know. I'm chalking it up to like semi bad luck mixed with just not knowing what I'm doing in this set yet. Like I don't even fucking count the sealed. Everybody I've talked to has had absolute garbage in their sealed pool who tried it for arena, and like because I went out to eat with people like during pre-release weekend, and people are pulling like amazing shit. Well, you also have the 2 promos, right? You get a promo card and then a promo planeswalker. So that alone is enough to feel way better a good percentage of the time, I'd imagine, or at least help. And everybody just agreed that their arena like sealed pool was trash. But for one of my drafts, I did have the luxury, and at this point, like I just had no idea what to do, so I picked them to say fuck it. I had out like a full 4 charm strays, which is an awful strat, but holy shit did it feel good. Like definitely lost, but it was
the Charm Stray deck. 4 Charm Stray plus
the spark
a bunch of
doubles
clones.
And the clone effects. Oh my god. What a good deck. Like what an absolute, that's the shit that should be out there. Get Helm of the Host on that. On a Charm Stray.
That's really funny. The thing I honestly, from the deck lists I've been seeing out there, though, there's honestly like less. People are being pretty safe with what they're playing so far. It seems like, or it like none of these decks are going heavy planeswalkers as much as I thought something would.
Yeah.
Like I still think there's a deck you can play. I just don't have the wild cards for it, where your strategy is playing a bunch of garbage of like utility planeswalkers, and then elder spelling them into an alt.
Yeah.
Where you play, because elder spell you destroy planeswalkers, but then you add loyalty to your planeswalker a planeswalker you control.
Yeah.
So you just like eat your own planeswalkers to get to a planeswalker ult, because those are so powerful.
I mean, you know, there's like the Bolas, literally just win the game.
Yeah. That's one of them. But that card's hard to cast in a deck like that, I think. I want white. I think the white utility planeswalkers.
People are fucking pumping out like swinging with a Ghalta, or not? A Ghalta on like turn 3, whatever. Like just.
Well, yeah. That's different. I just mean the getting the different colored mana sources.
Just play Chromatic Lantern. Just do Lantern control.
That has that specific problem of A, eating cards in your deck, and B,
it'll be fine. Actually,
your control matchup works.
Man, what was the? I just saw it on Reddit. The turn 3 Ghalta was like they didn't actually cast it, but they got the Boar God out by turn 3 and gave it haste.
Yeah,
it's so good. I think Board God might be like the thing I want to work the most, even though I don't have like that card to even tinker with.
That deck is actually just good. The green red, you play green red. It's just the rule deck's just good.
Yeah,
That's a real deck.
I mean, maybe I build it, even though I have probably none of the shit that's needed.
Yeah, you need like Rekindling Phoenixes.
I maybe have 2.
Gruul Spellbreakers. I think New Domri. Because that makes it so your creatures can't be countered.
I mean, we're already like way over my budget.
Yeah. I've been thinking like this past week of dumping more money into the game.
It's gonna happen for me.
I just want to play stuff, and I just want to play this game.
Well, I mean, people have been, you know, there's that perpetual conversation about like Arena Modern, you know, whatever Eternal format, and people are talking about, oh, they'll bring Amonkhet back, the Amonkhet block, they'll bring Kaladesh block in, like. That's so much as a free-to-play player. Like, that's a lot of shit to look at.
Oh, even if you're playing if they added back in Kaladesh, I would buy Kaladesh deck cards.
So
I probably wouldn't buy Amonkhet or
I
Uh, I mean, I would try to get the specific cards I got. From
yeah,
there.
yeah. You use
The
your
the
buy the
problem I
card
actually
rush.
think with the idea of them bringing back Hellish, even though they put it in the game already, is that set is so fucked that I
Yeah,
don't know that they want it in their new
but
format.
then my artifact deck could work.
I know, dude. I'm telling you, my fucking artifact storm Aetherflux Reservoir is like all I want to do in the world.
And now we have
that
proliferate. Like,
that
what
deck
could go
was like the
wrong?
most. That deck was certainly the most fun I've had in Arena. I think because it was.
Just stupid. Yeah,
Oh,
you
it
and
was
your
so good.
freaking reservoirs. Just the worst. Too many bad memories.
I just wish the like effect on popping an Aetherflux Reservoir was more impactful. It's like a single bullet fired out of a cannon, like boom.
Yeah.
It's pretty good still though.
BFG.
Like blop blop. Even though it's
It's exactly
blap,
like that.
it's exactly like blap blap. That's someone comes into your bike and goes blap blap when you, and it's you. You do it. It's just you can't help yourself.
Oh my god.
So another deck that I've been seeing a lot that's like incredibly powerful is the Feather deck.
Oh yeah, feather is
Well,
that's a
also
fucking
10th
thing.
District Legionnaire,
Yeah.
which basically has heroic, is crazy. Like the number of times, like yeah, it's like an 8/8 on turn 3, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Boros, man, they got big.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't run into because I've been playing so much jank. I haven't run into too many iterations of it that have been super problematic. Like a dude got I definitely saw like the full from the other end, the problem. Like, oh, this guy is just casting all of his shit and it never ever goes away ever.
Yeah,
And then there was like the one I forget what I don't know if there's like a set uh like the go-to spells or if this guy was just slinging whatever he had, but it was like the one just a white mana, like it gets indestructible or something and you draw a card, and it was
yeah.
definitely like the card draw was what was really doing it.
Well, yeah. Sheltering Light is indestructible, and they scry one.
That might, you know what, that's it, not draw. Okay,
Yeah.
scry.
Well, yeah. So then they have a creature gets like +1 attack, and they draw a card. That's their card draw.
I think he
engine.
was using both.
Yeah. The deck uses both.
I definitely like the one that gets the indestructible. I like countered it once and then he just conceded. He was very much ahead, but like, well,
Yeah.
don't know if bad
Well,
luck
so
or just whatever.
yeah. If you have removal, I think you can deal with that deck. But I'm playing these combo decks that are like linear and tight in terms of like the number of cards I can play, and it's just
Yeah.
a bad time. They're just too fast for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. No, they're
And it's also
definitely
that
just,
like because I'm playing Bolas' Citadel, so like I don't have like the room to like come back if I'm at like 3.
yeah.
If I cast a Bolas' Citadel at 3, then I can kill myself, which is neat. But oh, I just also had some games where I play Bolas' Citadel, top card, Bolas' Citadel. Next turn, land Bolas' Citadel.
God bless. That's what
Like,
they call
this
the
is just
dream.
this is just the worst possible outcome here for me.
Oh, it's like those games with Neo Niv where you draw all 3 of them and you're like, huh,
Yeah.
guess I got
Which
it.
is why I'm like I'm leaning towards thinking the versions that aren't like so all in, that can play a Bolas' Citadel and just use it for value and still get by, are probably going to be better in the end.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing because all I want to do is play my entire deck at once.
Oh, that's it.
That's so much to ask.
Yeah, how dare they? No,
I've also been messing with the gate deck again.
uh,
Although I'm not playing Wilderness Reclamation this time.
okay, well, I mean, that makes you a slightly better person, but
I tried, so I experimented with using Neoform on Gate Colossus for Zakama.
oh, that's
But that,
spicy.
I mean, it's very spicy, but it was a little, I think it was a little greedy.
How so?
I couldn't, my deck was too crowded for what I was trying to do. But I was also like trying to do other stuff, like using the neoforming into the. I was also using the guy who just tutors up a dinosaur, the red creature,
Oh, yeah.
to the top of your library. My deck was just crowded with
That
cards.
sounds like a bit of a. It's spice, but it's all over the floor.
Yeah. I'm playing Nezahal.
Oh my god.
Because the
Yeah.
gate deck is the deck I found that's like the easiest and most consistent. Like, just get to a lot of mana in that deck.
Yeah, that is true.
Because, and it's partially because I don't have some of the other good red sweepers. Like, I don't have Deafening Clarion, and there's the new ones, Solar Blaze. So, like, Gates of Blaze is just so powerful.
Yeah.
So then I can kind of, like, get to late game stuff. But I kind of need more life gain against Burn, but also, like, trying to be control. It's all those two polar ends are so frustrating. I'm like trying to navigate it, and really, what I should do is play best of 3.
Yeah, I was gonna
play
say
with the sideboard.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's why
But
sometimes.
I can't commit to a deck. Like, just inherently, I just want to play different stuff until like give up and just play Burn over and over again.
Yeah, I know this about you.
And inevitably, this is my arc.
Hank's destiny.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was playing. The only other times I've ever really played Standard before Arena was I would buy a cheap red deck. If there was a good cheap red deck I could play, I would buy that and play Standard.
Man,
thing.
mono red.
Mono red,
like
dude.
Amonkhet block?
And not just mono red. It has to be
random
Burn. If it's not Burn, then like, what are we doing? Or Goblins. Goblins is acceptable, but Burn is the thing.
I just want Hollow One, damn it.
Oh man,
Give me that Hollow One deck.
Hollow One's good. Having played
ridiculous.
a bunch of it with on Magic Gathering Online, because I have a
It's so
Hollow One
much
deck
fun,
on
dude.
there. Turn 1 Hollow One is pretty good. Turn 1, 3 Hollow Ones.
It's so
is
dumb.
very good.
Man, I think my biggest disappointment so far, and it's one of those things where it's clearly just not optimized, but like that Proliferate deck just felt real terrible. Like, in theory, it can kind of go off a bit with, because, you know, like the win con is just built into the deck, like just get a bunch of creatures and kill the person, but like as a first iteration, don't have much interaction, no counters, no removal or anything, but like,
Yeah.
how much do you put in when you're trying to get to 20 counters ASAP?
Yeah. The thing I've heard about tuned versions of that deck is if you're gonna win, you just win before you hit Simic Ascendancy anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Like,
that's true.
If you're actually building the deck well, like if you're getting to Simic Ascendancy, you've already won.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. My only this stupid thing, and I thought it was hilarious going against Sparky. Played the Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi, and I didn't get 9 counters on Simic Ascendancy. I was like, just in absolute shock. Like, how could they do this to me? It's because it's a land when it gets the counters. Who would have thought? By just looking at the card that says put counters on a land you control, that it's not a creature. It is wild. Took me by surprise.
Wild.
No, my big thing, like, War of the Spark is really cool. I'm just ready to go back to Theros. We're gonna real forward to that one.
So I remembered why I haven't been playing Best of 3. It's because in Best of 1, Nexus of Fate is banned.
Yeah.
And the new Tameo with Nexus of Fate sounds like a bad time where she could just... A, is an extra way to search for it, and if it ever wound up in your graveyard somehow, she could just get it back.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, I still have, like... And I mean, to a certain extent, it doesn't help, but, like, I went against a Gates deck the other day that dropped Wilderness Reclamation, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. Oh, right, no, they can't actually do that. It's still a Wilderness Reclamation. I'm out. Playing my fucking garbage jank deck. I don't got this kind of time.
I mean, that in Best of 1, it's basically expansion explosion, or it's actually just not that much value.
I mean,
expansion explosion is really fucking good with it, though.
I love that card. It's so much fun.
You can play that card with Ral and create infinite combos.
Yeah, I saw people talking about that. I don't know, like, what's the... I don't
basically
actually know is it new
you're
Ral?
using the copy ability on a spell that copies another spell, so you can just loop them where they're continuously copying each other.
Okay, so, like, what's the...
and then Ral's static ability is every time you cast a spell or copy a spell, he deals 1 damage.
Okay,
to the player.
So, like, what's the... Give me an example of, like, a setup here. I'm having trouble, like, following, I guess. Like
technically, I think you can do it with 2 expansions, where you just cast them on each other.
Oh, so you
cast expansion, and then you cast expansion on itself.
So you're trying,
or not expansion, expansion.
Yeah. So Ral deals the 1 damage to whatever. So
yes,
it doesn't
Ral
matter
is
what. Okay, so it's not like
Ral,
or I guess it is kind of like, well, it's not storm. You're not trying to get to, like, an end point of, like, casting the first spell 1,000 times. It doesn't matter what you cast. I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
The reason Ral is so good is because he makes it just happen. Like, you just win.
Yeah.
He's both half of the combo and the win con on it.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah. So that's pretty great.
I do have a lot of Izzet tools.
I mean, if you have expansion explosion, you could maybe do it with, like, a Sahelian play. Just so you would get, like, infinite ones, I guess. Oh, no. I wonder if you would, like, actually soft lock. I wonder if you have to target itself. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, if you were doing the expansion loop,
yeah,
but you didn't have a way to win, can you just opt out of it? Or is it one of those cases in Magic where they have to target a thing?
You mean, like, the expansion spell itself?
Yeah. If you're casting expansion on expansion.
Oh, okay. Well, is it a May ability? You may copy target spell?
That's what I need to know. These are the answers I need.
Sahili doesn't.
Yep, okay, it's a May. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, that would just be like... I feel like you're setting yourself up for so much disappointment. The opponent just sits there watching you create, like, I don't know, 10,000 1/1s and then plays not even a wipe. He just plays that fucking enchantment where opponent's creatures get -1/-1.
He plays like Chain Whirler.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So that's why you have to also run new Samet, so your creatures have haste. Done.
Yeah.
Now it's only a
Sure.
card combo that requires 2 of the same card.
What a steal. Man, what was the deck that Chain Whirler went in? Like when it was bad? Was that just burn? Just straight like some
There were
form of
like
burn
it
or
was all red black mid range.
okay. Cuz I remember like people were
It's
bitching
like
about
the
it a
opposite of
lot.
this format. It was just this particular red black mid range deck that was unbelievable. Like it would play Chandra
Okay.
from Aetherflux Reservoir. Once Ixalan was out, it would play Rekindling Phoenix. It would play Hazaret. Hazaret was like
Yeah, it has a red.
the big
Was
card. It was like there were just a lot of good 4 mana things, and then you could play. So you could play Hazaret. It was basically Hazaret, Chandra, and that vehicle that you could just remove a loyalty counter on to
Oh
make it
yeah.
a creature, and it was a 4/4 for 2 mana.
Yeah.
That thing that it just was in every deck, and is the reason they're now only printing artifacts with colored mana, basically. That
God.
was their breaking point.
Yeah. No, that whole set was just or that block. That whole standard was just like there's so much shit that got banned.
Yeah.
Fucking cats.
Again, they really have only banned things in standard for artifact sets.
Yeah. I mean,
So
until they give us
it was like
enchantment lands and it returns
it was
to
like
Theros.
4th time or whatever. It's like they've just had enough at this point.
Yeah.
I always get excited for artifact sets. I'm like, oh man, there's gonna be so many completely broken cards. I didn't think they would do another one after Mirrodin, and then they did New Phyrexia, and I didn't think they would do another one after that. And then
They just kept
Kaladesh.
going. Where are the enchantment sets, dude? Where's all the love for enchantments?
Enchantments just never as broken.
Yeah, it's our turn. We
You
deserve
had Theros.
we deserve enchantment lands. We
Look,
deserve
you had at
enchantment
Theros, you had
infinity.
Urza's block. Urza's block, the enchantment block.
Okay, sure, but where are the enchanted? It's right. You could call it enchanted woods.
No, see,
Where
it's all
are
because
lands?
Urza's block was so broken. The classic enchantment set. All those broken enchantments.
Yeah, yeah. Because when they were making Kaladesh, they were like, we've never really had a too powerful of an artifact set, right? Like we're good here, right? No.
I mean,
No.
if they just hadn't printed Affinity or Skull Clamp,
No, give us enchantment affinity. It will be fine. Actually, the thing I want is, well, I don't know if I want it, but it would certainly clear up a lot of things, and we've talked about it before, is the wow, I'm blanking on the term.
enchantment lands.
No, for enchantment creatures, what's their ability? Like their
Bestow.
bestow, right? I wanted to say like oracle for some reason. I'm like that's a type of text. It's not an ability in the game. Yeah, just the amount of people that are like, so can I cast can I turn it into the aura now? I know. But I could see how you would think that because literally everybody kind of did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They did weird stuff, but it was cool.
Yeah, I don't think Bestow is coming back just because that was just it's such a confusing mechanic.
It was real rough. It wasn't. I had the kind of the luxury, I guess, of being like that was my first set where I actually played a good deal.
Yeah.
And if that's how you're learning it, it's fine. But if you would come in like the set before that and everyone's now like, oh, you have to forget like half of what you learned. I don't know. They have said they're coming because I think I forget what that scale is of like returning to planes, but I know Theros is high up there.
Yeah. It's a popular plane. It's just like they're not. I don't think they're bringing Bestow back to standard. Like they printed that Bestow Commander for the last Commander set, but because people like that stuff. But I don't. I think that's just too messy for standard again. I think. I mean, I could be wrong. They say things that they'll never do again, and then they do them again all the time. So.
Yeah. Like what was that first buy a box promo?
The first one was Fire Song and Sunspeaker.
Yeah. Right, that was like the first one that like caused controversy or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
People
I still kind of
like
worried that would be too good, or worried that
no,
it would be
like they were
important.
the part of the complaint with it was when in the future the card would be too good.
And then Nexus of Fate happened.
Did it? I mean, Nexus of Fate is still kind of trying to get there. It's like it's very strong right now again, but that's because the meta hasn't developed, and it's like an easy first thing.
Yeah,
like the Nexus deck existed, but it wasn't ever. It hasn't been the best thing.
It's just really fucking annoying.
It's just really annoying.
It's good enough to be annoying.
Like, I mean, that's what literally why it got banned in Best of 1. It's just a fucking annoying.
Yeah.
At least in Best of 3, you can sideboard against it.
And I mean, that's like, I think that's the worst place of good to be. Like, if you're going to destroy me, just do it. I don't need this. I don't need any of this.
Well, the part that like convinced me that it was bad was when you can just loop that effect over and over again, but not be able to win.
Yeah,
but you could just keep taking game actions.
No, that's terrible.
That I don't like.
And I mean, how do you balance that? Do you give people like a chess timer sort of deal?
I mean, the way they traditionally do it is extra turn cards exile themselves.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the stupid thing about Nexus of Fate. They've figured out how to balance those cards so they're not broken. They just did not. They made Nexus of Fate extra broken because it reshuffles itself. Somehow they thought reshuffling it back into your deck was okay. The other problem is specifically Search for Escanta. Like if Search for Escanta wasn't a thing, it would also be much harder for that deck to be good. But that Search for Escanta makes it so much easier for you to find another one on your next turn, guaranteed. And it's so hard to deal with.
After it transforms.
Yeah.
Field of Ruin, dude.
Field of Ruin and Assassin's Trophy.
That's it. I like...
But also, like, the format's so filled with these greedy color mana bases, there aren't really a room for Field of Ruins in them.
I disagree. But I'm someone who shoves Detection Tower in my... in anything. Is there
if you want to be able to if you don't care about actually playing your cards, you can jam lots of things in.
You know what? Whatever. Detection Tower has been a good inclusion in I think 99.9% of cases.
I don't think Carnage Tyrant is scary right now at all.
Well, I fucking hate him. It's the worst. And you know what? You know what is the opposite of the worst? when I lay down a detection tower, take away his hexproof, do some bullshit to him, and then the other player spends like a full 2 minutes going between the text and their graveyard because they don't realize that detection tower is a thing. That's the sort of thing that gets me rock hard.
Playing the Wanderer is really good for that.
Is that lose hexproof or whatever?
No, that's things other you and other permanents you control can't be done direct damage. It can only take combat damage. So there's also like the 3 mana dude in legendary dude from Guilds of Ravnica that does that too. I've made that mistake. I always forget that he has an ability that's like other creatures can't be dealt direct damage.
Yeah.
He's partially red, and that's weird to me.
I fucked that up in a Mormir game once. That felt bad. They had Zakama out.
It feels very bad.
Or no, that's what it was. I had Zakama out, and I was like trying to target shit, and I didn't like it was to the point where, we each have like 30 things out. So I did not notice that thing on the board, and I'm like targeting it shit and it's just dying. I'm sure the dude was on the other end going, "What the fuck? Like, for real?" What a mistake.
What a mistake.
Do you have any thoughts on what the EDH sets might be this summer? Any hopes
I'm
and
hoping.
dreams?
My hopes are partners coming back.
Oh yeah,
more partners. That's what I want more than anything. Theoretically, they've said the reprints are gonna be better.
Yeah, I mean,
because
last year.
Yeah, no, I mean you can still buy last year's stuff. It didn't like sell out.
Yeah.
Which is like the first time that's happened with Commander sets.
That's the first time I either didn't buy any of the sets, or if there was like even some cards that I wanted, I would just buy the deck because then it's fun. You play with it for a little bit, whatever. Yeah. Then last year I need like 3 or 4 cards, and the enchantment deck looks cool, but whatever.
Yeah, no. I mean, I still look. If I see those like in a store, I think about it, and I'm like, it's so much cheaper to buy the singles even.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not even. They're just not good. And in terms of like overall card quality.
But then like, I think all of the decks,
and
didn't all of them have like weird mismatch shit? Like,
yeah, like they're just also not like, you look at them as a deck you would play with, and none of them seem
like the
great.
enchantment one had Ares Mexides or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean they always want to do that. They always want to put in one out of your like extra commander slots.
Well, yeah, but why
like a legendary that's differently
in like a
because the point of the product is not to be a built like a tuned thing. It's to point you in different directions.
I guess, but that's just such a different direction.
They're just trying to put cool cards, Ben.
I just think the other like previous decks have even done that better. Instead of like, here on one hand you have a, like a goddess bestow enchantment lady, and on the other hand you have a giant whale that is a land. It just like it's too mismatched, I think. It's dope. I love that it exists, obviously, but it just felt weird.
The one that I think they were the most wrong about was the spider in Lord Ringgrace, the land deck. The spider that makes everyone attack.
Yeah.
Like, internally, apparently they loved that card, and then they put it out in the world, and everyone was like, "Yo, this card sucks."
Like because we finally got the legendary spider.
Yeah,
and it was trash. Well, it's kind of like the legendary bear, right? That doesn't actually care about bears.
And it not that it just like isn't bear tribal. It doesn't care about. It cares about 4 power or greater creatures.
Yeah. No, that's
like,
what I meant. Bears.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it doesn't synergize with lightning bolt at all.
That fucking chart. What is that? That's like the chaotic evil bear or something.
Yeah.
It's such a good like that's probably one of my favorite like uh what's that term for that chart? Like allegiance or whatever? No.
Oh, alignment.
Alignment. I'm just like blanking on stuff today. Yeah, no, it's probably my favorite version of that chart.
Uh huh. It's so good. Bear alignment.
I mean, my hope for Commander is the same as it's always been. I just want them to print a Slivers deck with a Sliver Planeswalker.
Mm-hmm.
Because just imagine the story possibilities. I think they, like, I don't know. They had an opportunity with War, and they didn't do it because they're cowards, presumably. They could have shipped Nicol Bolas to the Sliver Realm or something, and imprisoned him there somehow, and then suddenly the Slivers devour him, and they gain his power, and then we get Sliver Bolas. It was all right there. It was laid out in neon signs, but they just ignored it. I don't know why.
I mean, I think there are two things with slivers. One is, the big one is, to do slivers, you have to do a bunch of slivers.
Yeah.
So there's not a good way to, like, you can't just sneak in a sliver in a standard set. You could sneak in a sliver in, like, a commander set.
Actually, Core Set 14 would like to disagree with you.
There were a bunch of slivers.
It didn't seem like there were enough, though, to make it work. Like, obviously,
well, but there were still a lot. And nobody liked that, because that's when they did the slivers that were, like, humanoid, right?
People misread that, and I will fight to the death on that stance.
People didn't like it. They really didn't like it. I think that's the other half of it, was like they did slivers that time. They tried to do something different with it, and
they were probably trying to ramp up to exactly the thing I just talked about with the Sliver Planeswalker, but instead people were little bitches. They're like, no, I want my alien animal sliver, dude. They were turning humanoid. What if we started to see them like with like human intelligence, and then that? I actually think
you're wrong about this, because I think, well, I'll say this. The reason that was bad is because slivers aren't a thing, except in Magic. So the only real thing slivers have is that visual look of that one. And once you take that away, like, what the fuck? Like, slivers then aren't anything. Like, the thing that kind of made them was, like, they're, like, one of the few things, like, Magic is, like, whole Hoth created. Slivers are original to Magic the Gathering as a made-up animal. So I think they actually kind of have to stay closer to what they're defined as, just because there isn't other context for what a sliver could be.
So you don't like the idea of, like, the humanoid ones with hypothetically more intelligence in my little scenario being like commanders or something.
We already had a sliver with more intelligence. It was the Sliver Queen. The Sliver Queen was intelligent. You don't have to go for a stretch. Yeah. She had, like, a conversation with
that's right,
Jared
because
or
her
something.
and Karn were like, they chatted.
Yeah, you just need the high up lead sliver can be intelligent. That's fine. You can have I'm not saying you can't have a sliver planeswalker, Ben. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying slivers as a card thing is like whatever slivers are need to have a visual consistency. Even if you're
I mean, from
I think they could branch out a little bit. I think they went too far.
From a design standpoint and like the arguments you make, yes, absolutely. Like, they're recognizable and stuff. I think from what they actually do and what they like are, not internally, but like, you know, their shtick, I think it's totally fine. And I don't know.
Oh yeah, because they're supposed to, like, absorb the
You kill a shitload of humanoids, like, maybe you start looking like them over time. But I don't know. As someone who loves slivers in every way, shape, like that's the first lore that I learned about Magic was like reading on slivers. I was totally fine with it. I was down, and then everybody around me was bitching, and I like was super confused. Didn't know what was going on. But you know, you can't be a Magic player unless you hate Magic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The other problem with slivers is as they've like slivers stood out as like a tribal thing before tribal became so ubiquitous.
yeah,
So it's hard to make them stand out, and it's hard to not like minimize your ability to do other tribal stuff when you do slivers.
yeah. It would probably. I think at best without like watering it down, you could do like 2, maybe. Depending on the state of like current standard, of course.
I think they did like 1. I think Future Sight only had 1.
One
The
tribe.
poisonous one.
Oh, only one sliver.
I think that. Yeah, that poisonous sliver.
I meant like tribe support.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the other problem with slivers is they're 5 color. So you'd also where are you sliding them in terms of like balancing the color of the set.
I mean, you do the normal thing.
I'm just
You
saying
make
it's
red
hard. Like the reason they haven't done it
Well,
is
that
'cause it's
part's
not
easy. That part's super easy. You make the red and black ones slightly worse. You make the blue and white ones the best. You make the green ones the lords that everybody puts in all the decks, and then you get banned slivers. It's tried and true. Why deviate?
Because I mean, you deviate because that's boring, and why would you print that
You were
again?
just arguing to keep the slivers the same shape, and now suddenly they gotta not be.
I'm saying,
what, the
yeah,
red-
I'm saying visually.
So you're
Because
saying that they
that's
should
like-
look how the classic ones did, but the red-black ones should be allowed to be a little better? That's
Yeah.
absurd. How could you suggest something like that? It's ridiculous. It's unheard of.
I'm saying maybe we don't need another sliver that gives all slivers +1/+1 that is green. Maybe we don't need another one.
You take that back.
Ben.
You take that shit back right now. They'll just put
I
it on a
think it's
different
ridiculous
color.
that there are
There's a
2
white-
different slivers that make all your slivers able
No.
to add any color mana to your
No.
mana pool.
Actually,
When
there
they
is
printed one of those,
sliver-
I thought it was
there is
crazy. When
one
they printed
sliver-
another one.
There is one sliver that any slivers can do it, and there's another one where only your slivers can do it. Boom. Got him.
That's true.
I think
But I
that's why
don't
they did
care about that distinction. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they did it because they wanted that effect
it.
in
Yeah.
the slivers, because slivers are 5 color, and they wanted to give
Sure.
them the help. And how do you give slivers help? You print a sliver that gives slivers an ability. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
I think.
Yeah, I just think they should. I think they should print a sliver commander product, like a commander deck that's slivers. I think that is the proper place for slivers right now.
Yeah.
I don't think like
And-
cramming them into standard is the answer.
I think the big reason for that is to reprint Sliver Queen. Is Sliver Queen reserved? Stronghold?
Maybe. I think it
I
might
forget.
be.
I forget if she is. I know Sliver Legion is not, but there hasn't been reprints. Like, because those are pretty pricey.
Sliver Queen is reserve list. They can't reprint it.
I mean, they could just print something similar, maybe. A token generator, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, technically there's the green one that's 5 mana that produces sliver tokens.
That actually was like the best part about having the Sliver EDH deck is just like having the commanders built into it. It wasn't even like it's not even like, oh, do I put in Sliver Queen if she's not the commander? Just absolutely. Just do it.
I mean, honestly, I think it's good they don't reprint Sliver Queen, because the problem with slivers is it becomes an infinite combo deck
Yeah.
instead of a synergistic creature deck.
Well,
So I'm more in favor of slivers, cool slivers that allow for, the fun sliver deck to be a thing
Yeah.
instead of the broken sliver deck to be a thing.
See, that's why
Because the broken sliver deck isn't fun.
that's why I changed my commander to Hive Lord.
Yeah.
Like, just sure they're indestructible, but like they can still. You just have to take away Hive Lord, and suddenly, boom. Not that.
And I don't need
difficult.
them to reprint Sliver Queen. I already have two. It's fine.
Get out of here, this fucking guy. That's what I always get. Like, I don't know. People are always, well, you have an EDH deck. What if they just reprinted all of the good cards and then suddenly the value goes down? Okay, fucking great. Maybe I could actually play EDH with some people in real life. Like,
Instead of being
fantastic.
paranoid about it.
Yeah, either that or like, maybe you don't have to worry about power level so much. Like, you sit down and the guy like turn 1 does a mana crypt tropical island and you're like, oh, okay. And then all this other shit just coming out. Or the black deck that has Imperial Seal in it for some reason. Like, I already have so many legal tutors.
You're playing Commander and dude busts out Contract from Below.
Ugh.
And you're like, what is this shit?
It's just like it's a barrier, man. Like, I would rather I think my EDH deck right now, and some of it I traded into, and some of it I just had because I love me some bestow creatures. It's something like 400 or 500, so it'd probably sell for like half of that or 2/3 or whatever. If that value tanked entirely right now, I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I enjoy playing that deck.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, I would like whatever. Playing on tabletop is such a good solution, so I don't have that strong feelings about a lot of it.
Yeah.
That's like, that gives me what I need, honestly.
100%.
So,
Tabletop and with Arena now, like,
yeah.
which I guess it's been great because I don't think we have any like full statistics on it or anything, but from what I have seen just around Reddit and from like talking to the game store owner in town and like other people, it's brought more people into Paper Magic because they get into that and
Of
they want
course
to
it
play
did.
the real
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the alternative was
this-
it brings paper players away from Paper Magic, which I'm sure it has, but I've heard.
Well,
I've heard.
I mean,
more
people
coming
are
in.
playing more Magic.
Yes,
But yeah.
because like for someone like
No.
me, Paper Magic's dead. Like, I've no desire. Oh, yeah.
No, like this is kind of what happened around the time of the first Ravnica for Magic, but it was with a worse product. It was with those duels, the Planeswalker games on Xbox
Oh yeah.
and stuff. Like, those games were very popular and brought a lot of people into Magic along with the release of Ravnica. Like, that was the last big boon of Magic, of an influx of Magic the Gathering players.
Yeah.
And it's just taken them this long to figure out a digital product that made sense in the modern era,
Yeah.
in this era. So it's kind of just part of the cycle of how Magic goes, is at some point they figure it out.
Yeah, that checks out. It's just it's really
Yeah.
it's shocking to me, like, occasionally, because I truly do forget, and the one I keep coming back to is Hydroid Crisis. I play with it in Arena, and I love that card, and it's like everything, it's kind of like Growth Spiral. It's just kind of everything I like in a single card, and it's, aside from it being good, I'm talking, design and all of that. And then in real life, like, they were going for like $38 for a while, which I think has come down, but still it's probably like 15 or 20. So if I want to play with 4 of that card, I'm shelling out like $80. That's ridiculous. You know what's cheaper than $80? Like 4 wild cards. Like, is it? I'd say
if you actually want to like get
yes.
them, yeah, it is.
I'm gonna
It
say
is,
yes
but
either way.
yeah. I mean, Hydra Crisis is down to 15 and it hasn't even rotated out of standard yet. So like,
Yeah.
eventually you'll be
Yeah.
able to just get one. It
Yeah.
won't be a problem.
But still. Yeah, I'm saying in like standard if I wanted to play with the playset or whatever. That's just the Hydroid
Yeah.
Crisis, not to mention the cards that are fire.
Yeah. I mean, that's why when I played standard, I would play mono red because
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
No.
find the good cheap deck. That's
Well,
the way you play it.
mono blue is real cheap too, isn't it? Even in paper.
Yeah. Yeah, but mono blue was super cheap in paper. Like, mono white's very cheap,
Yeah.
particularly because they just reprinted a bunch of the cards for the challenger deck.
Gotcha.
Like that challenger deck of mono white is just like mono white minus venerated minus the elephant.
Yeah.
And the elephant is like an 80-cent card.
Is that are people still playing that in mono white? Should I be like stepping away from that?
No, people still play that. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
But yeah, but that deck, that I will say that deck was at a pro tour that didn't play it. That didn't play the elephant. That was
Okay.
LSV, who got to second place and then lost because he had to mulligan to 4,
Yeah, that'll do it. Like,
which is why we have the London mulligan.
see, I think I'm strongly in favor of it.
I think it's very good just because I think getting to more games of Magic is good. The weird side effect that happened where people were playing like getting to their removal better
yeah.
in like modern where or answers rather like their hard answers like Leyline of the Void are such a big thing. But also who cares about modern? Honestly.
No,
I feel like
for
modern
real.
is like starting to go the way of Legacy just in terms of how popular Arena is and that Arena is going to require the creation of a new Eternal format.
Which I am down for. Like,
I mean, that's the thing I want the most is like start a new Eternal format starting now with Arena because I'm into Magic now.
yeah.
And Standard is very good.
I've also seen some people who when they talk about modern, like, you know, the price point is always an issue, but one of the things that comes up is I mean, it's no different than I guess any other format. Like, why are the lands, the things that you actually need to play, why are those the most expensive? In a sense, like Scalding
Because they're
Tarn
the
is
thing everyone need.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's
it's ridiculous.
Obnoxious.
And they
Yeah.
were saying, like, honestly, I hope fetches should be banned from modern, just for the sake of like price point,
No.
like cost of entry.
You don't need to ban. You just need to reprint them.
They're
Like
not
it's just
going
been
to,
a
though.
long
Like-
time.
Like they're not.
Well, I
going
mean,
to for a
shocks were
while.
getting ridiculous until they reprinted them. The problem is they won't reprint.
Well, fetches.
If they
were, like, just
reprint
reprinted.
fetches in modern, like I mean, they're not going to because they've already said they're not going to. But if they would like,
yeah, it'd
they
be
just
fine.
the problem is Wizards. Like the problem isn't that fetches are ridiculous. It's the problem is they don't ever reprint fetches because
Yeah.
they don't.
But
they
if they're
don't
not
like
going
the-
to, then they shouldn't be allowed.
impact.
Is the argument? I don't know how
Well,
I feel about
no.
that particularly.
I don't like that argument because it's an Eternal format. Like at some point, like the point of an Eternal format is people who had the cards play that format. They're not actually built to be the accessible thing. The accessible thing
What?
is Standard.
What? That is, first off, that's
But
ridiculous.
no, but that's why the format gets retired and like becomes
Yeah.
much more niche.
Well, it's like-
when you're at the point where the price point is a barrier, like Legacy became a complete barrier because the dual lands became absurdly expensive. That format is just basically dead.
yeah.
Like that's fine if that's the way it goes. Like again, like the format that used to be modern was extended, which would rotate. It was just a much bigger format, which people didn't like, but this version of it where like you just play this full extended until these cards are too expensive, and there's a reason to create a newer Eternal format. I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
No, I knew like I've never had
Also,
any.
the thing I really just want is if a digital version where the cards are cheap.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
but the part that frustrates me about Modern is how like the handful of those cards are super expensive on Magic Online. Whereas honestly, the bulk of those cards are fine. It's only the top cards that are crazy, like
Yeah.
Mox Opal or whatever. But like, you can build decks that are like close without some of the key cards for not that bad.
Yeah.
That's what I just like. It's not completely inaccessible. But there are problem cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like. I'm fine with it dying, really, or at least like going the way of Legacy and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's like
the
they're collectibles. Like at a certain
yes,
point, these are physical things that collectors put value on, and that's
yeah, yeah,
gonna happen. If you want the game to just be a game, Magic Arena is the solution for you.
yeah. But like as
So
I mean, as you said before, like they don't have like. What if I want to play with the fetches and Arena doesn't have them? Well, then you install tabletop, I guess. I don't know. Like
yeah, you still
I
tabletop or you play on Moto. Like Magic Gathering
yeah.
Online exists. You could like they're still kind of expensive, but it's not. It's not as expensive as it is in paper.
See, my like the only time that I enjoy reading about older formats and even like modern to an extent, but like legacy and especially vintage, if it
I mean, I like
happens, are
I actually really like vintage. I just don't like it's legacy, and
yeah,
I did like modern, but right now I'm way less into modern because standard has been so good, and modern is kind of boring the
yeah.
way it is right now. Like this last tournament was not interesting.
I just like seeing when new cards make a splash. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's cool. It's cool. I don't know. It's cool to me when some
Yeah.
card gets printed and suddenly like legacy, like Deathrite Shaman, like that was dope in a sense. I mean, it sucks,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, for for people playing against it, but it was cool. Or like shit like Treasure Cruise, like
No, I mean
send it all the way back.
yeah, like fucking paradoxical outcome got printed in in Kaladesh block. That card is a deck. That is an archetype. That's one of the that's like has been one of the best decks in that format since then. Like
Hell
that's
yeah,
fucking
dude.
crazy. And then in the last set, like Lavinia was super
Okay,
played. She's kind of a staple of as a hate bear creature.
gotcha.
Really powerful. And also just like any powerful artifact is good in vintage because you have Mishra's Workshop.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, for
like
sure.
Walking Ballista, super good and super good.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I like that stuff. Vintage, I just think it's partially or Legacy. I think is extra stupid because technically the dual lands are like grandfather, like they're actually older, too old to be in what the cards you're playing in Legacy.
yeah.
I think
I think
so. That's
generally,
extra
yeah.
dumb.
Maybe. I don't know. Isn't Legacy just like the like you can play anything except for this giant ass list of cards that are technically in this category, but we're not going to allow. Sort of. I don't know.
I don't even remember.
I just want a format where Charizard is legal. I just want to play my sub
No, you
games of
don't.
Magic. Yes, I do. Fight me.
You can just play Karn.
I want the real Charizard. With a Ral on the field. I want to double cast it.
No, you don't.
I want to do it exactly once. Like, I
Yeah.
want to play
Uh-huh.
one game. Oh, what a stupid card.
Yeah, man. Might as well be silver bordered.
I mean, that art, that fucking Kaya Foglio? Fulgio?
Foglio. I'm not
Foglio?
sure.
Sure. Yeah, but there's an L and a G in there. You know. You know the one.
Yeah. The master.
Well, it's is there a husband? He does like the really cartoony shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That feels kind of like a podcast.
Kind of.
Unless there's any more burning topics.
What are your thoughts on Modern Horizons, a Magic Gathering set they're gonna release that's not gonna be on Arena?
I mean, I'm looking forward to watching people react to it and like reading about it. I don't give a fuck about it. Like,
Isn't that wild though? They're putting out a whole set. And it's not gonna be on Arena.
I mean, it's I wouldn't expect it to be on Arena.
But now where Arena is my world of Magic Gathering, it's weird to me.
I mean,
Even as someone who, plays Magic Gathering online and has a collection there, it's like, yo, but what if this was on Arena?
I mean, imagine this summer they give a surprise announcement that the Commander decks are coming to Arena, as is multiplayer and EDH. Just imagine, or Brawl or something.
I mean,
some
yeah.
form.
Yeah.
It'll be Brawl.
If they
but,
just brought the
know,
Commander
either
decks,
way.
that wouldn't do anything for me because you can only do one-on-one, and those cards aren't interesting one-on-one.
We'll just do French Commander or whatever.
Ugh. Ugh. I mean, at that point, I'd rather just play Vintage.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel about Modern Horizons really. I know it's coming. I'll look
play
forward to
some-
the shit
Play
show.
some Comedian Highlander.
Play real Elder Dragon Highlander. Get those actual dragons out.
Like, I find Canadian Highlander interesting as like a format where if you're gonna play broken stuff, they're like weighted. So like you have a certain number of points you can spend, and all the broken cards have a cost associated with them. Like that's theoretically interesting, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather just if you could just play with the cards though.
I mean, there's no
And
reason we
but the
can't.
broken shit was restricted.
There's
Yeah.
no reason we can, man. We have tabletop, we have house rules, and we have an unlimited budget.
I mean, we don't have an unlimited budget, but
No,
we
we
have the ability
absolutely
to proxy any card.
Unlimited budget. Money is no object when it comes to playing EDH with the boys.
That's not true. You need to pay $20 or whatever sale price Tabletop Simulator is going for. So maybe 10 to 5. I don't know. I don't know how much it goes on sale
No
for.
object. Probably way less. I feel like there's a lot of codes of that going around. Maybe. I feel like it's a game that people have extras of and don't care about. Possibly.
That's a mistake. That's like the best game on Steam. Like if every game on Steam had to go away, which one would I want to hold on to? Probably Tabletop Sim.
Really? Like
At this
actually?
point, yeah.
Huh.
Like I mean, I would say Dota, but
Ugh. Man, what would I hold on to?
I'm okay with.
I don't know. One of them maybe.
Tabletop Sim just has the most potential value as long as you know people who have it also.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you know how we installed Love Letter or whatever?
Love Letter?
Yeah. I think we played it like once. I think you were there. Maybe you weren't.
I don't think I was.
Well, there's this little game, a fun card game called Love Letter, and They, someone ported it into tabletop. There is also an actual version like on Steam. But why would I pay the like 40 cents when I have it on tabletop?
I mean, because it would enforce the rules for you.
I guess
That's what.
in
That's
theory.
like. That's what you're paying
I should
for.
say I don't know how like well implemented the game is.
Gotcha. Because honestly, that was a big thing for me when Magic Gathering Online came out. Was
Rule enforcement.
playing a version of Magic that the rules were enforced.
Yeah.
Was so helpful.
Oh yeah, same. I mean,
Like,
for Arena as well. Like for me, yeah.
Like, that's part of the reason we can play Commanders. I feel comfortable playing it is because I know the rules of Magic.
Yeah.
Like, Magic's fucking complicated. So I actually kind of get people not being into playing certain ways just because
Yeah.
the rules aren't enforced.
No, for sure.
Which again is the same problem when you play in paper. I mean, I've played so much Magic with just completely wrong.
Yep. Or even like there was someone talking about pre-release and he's like, I actually feel a little like it was at the event like the first night, and this was like I don't know, 12 or 14 hours after the fact. He's like, I feel really bad because this morning I was going over the deck that I had played with and realized I cast a sorcery as an instant like twice because I didn't think about it because whatever the name was or something or the effect, he just thought it was an instant. And he like, obviously that helps a lot. It's sorcery speed for a reason, but like, just shit like that.
Yeah, that's why I like, it's an advantage of digital forms. And really, the advantage to me is you learn the rules correctly, so that then you can go play in paper.
Yes, you'll know.
Like I think I
think
think Arena is a great way for people to be learning Magic. And then
100%
go into paper, like that's the right direction because
yes,
you know what you're fucking doing at all. It's it's just good. Arena is just very good.
Arena is absurdly good. I'm so glad it exists.
I'm sad that it's built in a way that can't do multiplayer though.
I mean, for now,
or more than 2 people. No, they've said it's built in a way they can't do more than 4 people. To make it do more than 2 people, they would have to build a new game, basically.
Well, they should fucking get to work. Ben wants Brawl. Come on.
I don't know, dude. Because part of it is the way they laid it out. The pixel space was such a big thing.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. But
they're kind of like we have a product for you if you want multiplayer Magic. It's Magic that are online.
Yeah.
Right now.
I mean, until tabletop stops being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Yeah. So you can email saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter @saltcirclepod. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Salt Circle Podcast. You can find our episodes hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. And I'm on Twitter @comicpanels.
And I'm on Twitter @bean_LP. I had a game the other day, real aggro deck, 18 lands, just because I drew like 12 in a row. It was actually a new record for me. Yeah, felt bad.